Okay, so today we're going to start with lesson 52, and we're going to go over 52 and 61. Okay, so these are chemical mixture problems. It says a solution of 50% vinegar is to be mixed with a solution of 20% vinegar to form 60 liters of a 44% solution. How many liters of the 50% solution must be used? So we're going to start by writing an equation. We're going to put the concentration as a decimal instead of a percent. So to start, we have some 50%. It's going to be mixed with a 20%. So we got 20%, put parentheses right here. We're going to add some 50% to that. And we want to end up with, it says 44%. So changing those to decimals. Okay, it says we want to form 60 liters of this 44%. That's the quantity. We'll put that inside the parenthesis. Now we know that these two have to add up to 60. So if they add up to 60, if I call this one X, this one has to be 60 minus X. So this plus this has to add up to that. Then I'm going to clear the decimals. Okay, so I'll move all the decimals over too. And then I'm going to do distributive property. And I'll get 20x plus 3,000 minus 50x is equal to 2,640. Add your like terms and subtract 3,000 from both sides. And you end up with negative 30x equals negative 360. Divide by negative 30 and you're going to get 12. It says how many liters of the 50% solution must be used? Well, this 12 goes here because it's X. So it's 12 liters of the 20%. For me to get how much of the 50%, I've got to do 60 minus 12. So the answer would be 48 liters. 60 minus 12. Okay, that comes from this because that goes with the 50%. Okay, so let's look at another one. In this one, we have a 46% solution and a 25% solution. So we're starting with the 46%, and we're adding some 25% to it. And we want it to end up being 41%. And it says we're going to end up forming 252 liters. So that's the quantity that goes with that. So again, I'll call this X. Then this one becomes 252 minus X. So move the decimals over and do distributive property. I have 46X plus 6,300 minus 25X, and that's equal to 10,332. Add your X's together and you get 21X. Subtract 6,300 from both sides and you get 4,032. Then divide both sides by 21 and you get 192, and that's liters. It says how much of the 46%. The X does go with the 46, so this is your answer. Okay? Now, moving on to 61. So these are similar type problems. It says a researcher orders a broth of 33.1% glucose for her lab. However, she needs a stronger broth, one that's 33.4%. Fortunately, she has 76.9 liters of a 34.6% glucose broth in the stockroom. So how much of that is she going to, how much of the 33.4% can she make, it says. So she's got 33.1. Okay, we're going to change that to a decimal. That's 0.331. She's got that one. She's going to add this one to it. This is what's in the stockroom. So 0.346. She's going to add some of that. She wants it to end up being 33.4%, 0.334. And it says here that she has 76.9 of the 34.6. So we're going to put that right here. So I don't know how much of this, but I know that this plus this has to equal that amount, so I'll have X plus 76.9. Move your decimals over 3 places. and do your distributed property. So you have 331x plus, do distributed property here, and you're going to have 26,607.4. Do it here, and you have 334x. Multiply that times that, and you're going to get 25,684.6. So I'm going to subtract this from both sides and end up with 3x on this side. I'm going to subtract this from both sides and end up with 922.8 over here. Divide both sides by 3, and you get that x is 307.6, and that's liters. Okay, moving on to another one. It says you got some 66% alcohol. You're mixing with a 28% to form 418 liters of a 60%. So you've got 66%. You're going to add to it some 28%, and you want to end up with a 60%. You want to end up forming 418. Okay, so if this is x, then this is 418 minus x. Move the decimals 2 places to the right and do distributed property. You got 66x plus 11,704 minus 28x, and that's equal to 25,080. Add your like terms right here, and you're going to end up with 38x. Subtract this from both sides, and you're going to have 13,376. Divide both sides by 38, and you're going to get 352 liters. Okay. Here it says you're going to start with 100 liters of a solution, and it was 80% alcohol. So you're starting with 80, and it tells you how much you have. You have 100. It says they need a 75%, so we're going to extract alcohol. You're going to extract pure alcohol. So 100%, which is 1, when you change it to a decimal. I don't know how much. And we want it to come down to 75%. But if we have 100 and we take some away, we're going to have 100 minus x. Move it over. Do your distributed property. 8,000 minus 100x equals 7,500 minus 75x. If you bring this one over here, it becomes positive, and I'll get 25x on this side. Subtract this from both sides, and I'll get 500. Divide both sides by 25, and you get that x is 20 liters. So this last one, it's saying that you're going to add some pure water, and you're going to mix it with 7 pints of 70% developer to produce a mixture that is 34% developer. Now, one thing you got to realize is in all these previous problems, if we were talking about the concentration of something, it was all the same thing. Now we're talking about concentration of developer and concentration of pure water. So, since I know I have a 70% developer and I have 7 pints, I'm going to start with that. And I'm going to add some pure water to it, but the percent of developer in pure water is 0%. I don't know how much I'm going to add, so put an X. It says to produce a mixture that's 34%. So it's going to be 7 plus X. You got to be careful not to just say, oh, that's just 0. I'm not even going to write it, because you need the X there to know to put 7 plus X there. Okay, so we're going to move the decimals over. And this becomes 490. Of course, that's 0. You multiply this through, and you're going to get 238 plus 34x. Subtract that from both sides. And you get 252. Divide both sides by 34, and you'll get 7.412. And we're talking about pints here. So that's your answer. I hope that's helpful.